So today we are going to make a wire frame. The things we're going to need, I'm saying a wire because I'm going to use a hanger. We have our foam cut out to cover the back of our cornflakes boxes. We cut those cards out. The strips, you can use felt. I am using a piece of material. This is going to cover the wire frame to help give extra padding. There's strips of material, which is what we're going to decorate our frame with as we go. Your scissors, we're going to use pliers. I have two type here, one for cutting the wire, one for bending the ends. And let's go from here. So as you can see, I've cut the tips of the hanger off. And since this is going to be for a younger lady, which will be smaller than myself, I'm going to just estimate where it can possibly fall on her. So since she's smaller than myself, maybe around here to come to her arms. And so we're going to get our pliers and we're going to cut this. So I can almost do the hanger in half actually, to make for a child. So you just estimate or you can measure, and we're going to cut that now. So technically the hanger is in half, which only fits about here on me. It would fit more on a child. You can straighten it or you can leave it with that hook. It makes easier for when it's around the neck. Okay, we're going to use the other, which would be a possible star nose, whichever shape, but this is the pointy one we're using. And we are going to bend the ends. And this is the part where you can connect your string to tie it around your back. Pretty easy, quick, simple. One side is done. The next side will be done here as well. In case you're hearing that noise in the background, I'm sitting next to my turtle and he's getting a little excited because he's a little greedy. So we don't want to bend today. Okay, so we've had both our ends are bent now, as you can see. Okay, you can leave it, as I said, at this angle, or you can just make it into a curve just a little more. Okay, from here we are going to use, as I said, you can use felt. You've cut these into strips. It is about, you can use a ½ inch, an inch, it's up to you. And we are going to wrap the wire frame with the felt. I have my glue gun, my Old Faithful. Guys, do remember, glue is hot and it can burn, and it's not a nice feeling. And we are going to start wrapping. We put the glue on and we're going to start wrapping our wire frame. And as you go, you try to pull it as tight as possible. Now this kind of material unfortunately rolls. Felt you can use, and felt goes a lot easier. And as you're going along, you're going to place some glue at different spots, so just in case it doesn't move and such as you're wrapping, and it helps secure as well. And if you're thinking that this wire is not strong enough, this is almost the same wire as some people can use. And as you use the glue, and what you're wrapping now is just reinforcing the wire, so it makes it firmer as it goes. Okay, so we've come to the end of wrapping this. We're just going to end it off. There, I put the glue. We're going to go as close to the edge as possible. And we're just going to secure this with a little glue. Again, the warning of hot glue. Going to press that on there. And then we're going to cut off the excess. Now, this table I'm using was from my son when he was a little kid, so it has all these compartments for I put my scissors. I can have the glue right here in the little holes and such. Okay, so we've covered with the padding base, and as you can see now the wire is a lot harder. It's more secure. This I'm going to use as the decoration material. You can cut these into shorter strips. It makes it more manageable to keep wrapping. So I'm going to cut this so you guys can see it's a little easier to use shorter pieces. It depends. I'm just using material that I have around the house. And just as you did with the blue, we're going to do with the decorative material. You're going to start with your piece. I just put that extra. You can always cut it at an angle where it comes easier with the pointed edge. And from there, as I said, you're going to just put a little glue that you can keep wrapping. From here, you're going to try to wrap as neatly as possible. And since I did my strips wider, the material should cover space. You know, it should be a shorter route to the end for this one. And I'm just going to add a little bit more glue here so it stays put as it goes along. So we do this all the way to the end. Sometimes if you don't want to, you can just cover the areas that's going to be seen, which would be around the neck and near the edges, because we're going to put on our card. Now, as for the card, I had mine, these are pieces I had cut already. Since this is a child and this wire frame is much shorter than myself, see, this is why sometimes you cut or you can leave it longer. We've come to the end of this strip, so we can always add on another piece. And this is also why you can start gluing from the corners and come on the way in. So we're just going to start and add another piece, as you can see, to continue to the very end. I'm going to try to make this as neat as possible. Put a layer of glue over that so you can come back over it so it looks like you continued from where you were. And we're to the end of this now. See, it wasn't that long. And yes, I'm listening to my Soko in the background now to keep me going. And we've come to the end, and we're going to try to wrap it so the felt or whatever you're using as the pattern underneath doesn't show. Okay, and we're going to just glue to end this off. And that should be good for that. You're going to cut that off. I'm just going to use a bit more glue just to seal the edges off. And there you go. So now we have this wire frame. Simply put around the neck, and there it goes. As I said, it's going to be on a smaller person, a kid, so it should fit them much closer into the armpits. Okay, from there, we're going to look at our card. As I said, I cut the card big. I'm going to cut them smaller. You can just cut 2 strips. Depends on how much feathers you're going to use. I'm going to cut mine down a little narrow. Take off a piece more. You can determine how wide you want it. You can determine. Since this is a child, this might not look like much, but depends on how you layer your feathers coming in different directions, you're fine. What we're going to do is this is a thin foam. You can also use felt for this. It's flexible foam. They come in the sheets. You're going to glue this onto here. I'm going to show you that. I usually leave an extra piece at the top. This is going to be the part that touches your skin. So we're going to glue the back of the card. Okay, and we're going to just stick it on there. As I said, I just leave a little extra piece over the edge so that there's extra for the feathers and you don't see the card. And this will be the underside of that. I'm going to leave this end now until we do that. I'm gonna stick both of these on at the same time to save time. Let's get a glue stick in here. Usually stick everything in my mouth, and so that we have it as we go. So this should be secure there. I'm gonna stick it right next to the next one, so we're not wasting any foam here. Again, you can just use felt, you can use any kind of material you have in your house. Improvise. I've done this because I used to teach, and I realized that as teachers you had to get creative. Not everything you can afford to go buy already done. So we're going to cut this, and I'm also cutting the other end a little longer than the length of the card. So let's start with piece 1. Oh, it fell. Hi guys. Okay, so we're going to estimate about where. So this is halfway, and to say this is going to be the part that's going to go under your arm, I'm going to estimate it, and I can say we can probably come up like the first joint of my finger away from the edge. Okay, so we mounted one. Well, I was doing that to speed this along. So what we're going to do, you're going to line up your card with your wire frame, and I brought it in just a little bit from the end, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Make sure they're both facing the same direction so that we don't mess up. Okay, so we're going to mark along the line. I had already creased my card to where I wanted it to go. You're going to put your glue, a thick amount of glue, and you're going to press the frame onto it. So we're going to try to put something there and hold that. I'm going to remount. I'm using short glue sticks, you know, just to make this a little quick one. So you're going to try to put as much glue around it to secure it to the frame. And this holds your foam. That's why I also do the foam extensions. The foam also sticks onto the material, and that is also keeping it secure for you, as you can see. So this is the back part. Now remember, we didn't stick all of the card onto that, so this is your other portion of the card that's loose. We're gonna put glue all the way along that, and we're gonna put a lot over the wire so we know that this is stuck to this. Okay, that's how we do it. You're going to fold it over the wire, and you're going to press it on to secure it. Okay, so you should have a secure piece on your thing. Now you're going to do the same thing with the foam. The foam now, we're going to just put, you don't use as much glue, but you know, however. And my glue gun is getting warm, it's getting cool, so you're going to just stick that on there as well. Now you see it was longer than the card, so this gives extra space for the feathers to adhere to without worry of them coming apart. Now this will be the back. What you can do now is just trim it to make it look even. You can even round up the edges so they don't look just straight pieces on the back up there. Cut off any excess, and technically this is your wire frame that's now mounted. And there you go. This is what can go. Now remember, this is the outer piece that goes on your skin. This is where now you will mount your feathers as you choose. Good luck guys. Enjoy building your